So honestly, my friends, I love nonsense in professional wrestling. So at the end of last night's episode of SmackDown, the Wyatt Six did return and they interrupted a match between the Street Profits and the Fraction for the tag team titles, and the Motor City Machine Guns were getting involved, as were DIY. And as we talked about earlier in the week, I do think WWE is doing too many interferences and too many distractions. But when it's this good, I don't care. It's another reason I do think less is more, because it would hit even heavier if you rarely saw this. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and some people have already sent me some genuinely insulting messages about this, which is just going to ignore. I shouldn't even have mentioned them, but I just think it's great. I just think it's wonderful. I just think it's fabulous. The lights go out, which makes no sense. Either we are saying that the Wyatt Six have magic powers, or they also have an extra member we don't know about in production that was like, tee, it just flicks the light switch. They come back on. This crowd goes crazy. They really did whip some ass. And of course, Nikki Cross got to go after Candice LeRae, who was out there, because she also joined DIY last night. They stand there at the end. The lights go back off. It's all spooky wooky. And they had a cake because it was Bray Wyatt's birthday. Uncle Howdy blows that out, and it cuts to the end of the show. I mean, none of it makes any sense when you take a step back, but nor do I want it to. It's why the goofy side of wrestling, Goofy Wrestling for Life. Get your t-shirt now, ProWrestlingTeesBigCartel.com. The description is down there. The links are in the description. But it's just wonderful, and it just works, to use that word that I keep using over and over again. I never want this to go away. I really, really do not. And sure, you can argue at the moment, well, why are the Wyatt Six all of a sudden in the tag team division? I'm happy to wait and see. And do not forget, there's so many people in there, they can splinter off into different positions. I always forget who's in the group because it's been so long. But you could take Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis, almost forgot his name, and put them in the tag team division, then Eric Rowan could go after something else. I've been saying for ages, Nikki Cross should absolutely be back in the women's division, whatever, guys. Same with Uncle Howdy. There's so many layers here, and maybe Alexa Bliss joins, maybe she doesn't, I do not know. But it just reminded me that the absolute nonsense that sports entertainment can be is the best, and just go listen to the reaction. Like, I have said this everywhere now, including on Ups and Downs. If you want my proper review of SmackDown, make sure you click the link or whatever on the screen and go over there, subscribe to them, and please do subscribe to me. If you are going to have wrestling all of the time, I need this sort of stuff sprinkled in. Like, I really, really do. Because it's just so quintessential pro wrestling. You're not going to get this in any other walk of life where people magically teleport into a ring and everyone's scared of them. Montez Ford's face was terrific. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. And let's not forget, they did interrupt a tag team title match here. So I'm sure some people are aggravated by it, but I wasn't at all. I was just super duper excited to see them back. And the fact they have all the emotional attachment attached to it as well, which is the dumbest sentence I've ever said, I think actually elevates it beyond nonsense and beyond ridiculousness. Like the fact that it was Bray Wyatt's birthday and that's when they did return, it just keeps his memory alive. I don't want to get too corny here. I certainly don't want to take their grief away from them, pretend, oh, murder's all about me, which it certainly is not. But it's just a nice reminder what did happen, and that we should always keep in mind what a great professional wrestler or entertainer, whatever word you want to use, creative visionary, Bray Wyatt was. And there's a phrase, I don't want to get this wrong, but I will butcher it. Like, no one ever actually really dies if we keep their memories alive. And that's essentially what the Wyatt Six group is all about. So if you want to throw that into the mix, there is no more important stable in all of pro wrestling, because again, that's real life, and wrestling is always going to be the most important of the least important things. It just led me wanting to see what was going to happen next week, which any good SmackDown should do. Again, it's over the top, it's a little bit silly, but the presentation just works. And really, ever since Triple H did take over WWE, you don't get much of this. It was much more of a Vince McMahonism. I just like it being in there. And I hope this time we can get a sizable run, because of course, at the moment, the Wyatt Six are on track to just have surprise awesome debuts and then surprise comebacks, which they'll get away with because every single one is brilliant and I enjoy them all. But I would also like them to get a bit more promo time to explain more of the characters, why they're here, why they're not here, maybe go after the tag team titles. And the tag team title scene on SmackDown is amazing. I'm going to forget someone, but of course, Pretty Deadly weren't involved here, so I hope they get thrown back in there too. But now the Wyatts, the Street Profits, Fraxium, DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns, and if this SmackDown was anything to go by, although it could have just been a tease, we always had that part when Street Profits did their promo and the Bloodline 2.0 walked by and they looked at them. And usually a look in pro wrestling means we're coming to kill you, so that excites me as well. I liked all the Bloodline 2.0 stuff on this show as well, to tie into that. JC Mateo, I hear it, but I still can't remember which one that they say. I don't care about names because we all get used to it eventually. This one may take a little bit of doing. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. Like Jeff Cobb, boom, boom. Jeff Cobb, boom, boom. JC Mateo, just adding extra syllables in there. And thank goodness they did call him JC because that's what Jeff Cobb has on his gear. He wore one of his old singlets tonight. It was way better than wearing his dress clothes from last week. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. We will just get used to it within time. But him and Jacob Fatu teaming up after a backstage skit earlier when Jacob Fatu was like, I don't trust you, you absolute goober. And Jeff Cobb just looking at him like, man, I'll rip your head off too. And Solo Sikoa kind of being the middle manager all of this. Clearly, the US title feud at some point is going to be Jake Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. Jake Fatu is in the Money in the Bank qualifying next week. I presume he will lose because he doesn't need to be in that mix. Because not only does he have the championship, but we're going to do something with the Bloodline 2.0. I would imagine that Solo Sikoa takes that belt as well. Anyway, they did win the tag team match after distractions and after interference, which, yes, was in most matches on this evening, which is ridiculous. It was against Jimmy Uso and Phoenix, which is also very interesting. There's probably a video in that too, because they're not doing anything at the moment. They're kind of just sort of floating water, treading on water, I should say, which is odd because Jimmy Uso, we all know his deal, and Phoenix hasn't been all there that long. Kind of does feel like we've pulled the rug from underneath his feet just a little bit. But listen, they did get the win. Then later on, when Nick Aldis does tell Jacob Fatu, you're in Money in the Bank, he says, I love you, Solo. And this Solo Sikoa, man, he was like, oh my gosh, he hasn't said that in 6 months. The delivery was great. Some people don't think that Solo Sikoa, not that he's not good, they just don't get him. Whereas I think he's one of the best people on the entire show. I think he's wonderful. Like this whole character of acting like he's the leader when actually he's a scared little boy inside and needs people to tell him how great he is wonderful. And he plays it so well. And I would like Solo Sikoa and Jeff Cobb, what to call him anymore, to become the tag team champions at some point. There is no rush. But obviously you have to fall out with Jacob Fatu first. When Jacob Fatu got tagged in, he was just a massive babyface. So there's no going back now. We do have to do the switcheroo. And listen, SummerSlam is not that far away. And Solo Sikoa is in the Money in the Bank match, so Jacob Fatu could probably cost him that as well, and Solo Sikoa accidentally costs him next week. And they should have a match at SummerSlam. They should. I don't see why we have to stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. We should pull the trigger and get it done. But I just like it. It's simmering away in the background. I just like seeing Jeff Cobb on WWE TV, even if he does have a ridiculous name. It's a bit like an AJ Styles situation from 2016. Nobody thought AJ Styles was ever going to make it to WWE for various reasons, none of which related to AJ Styles. But he made it and he smashed it. I think Jeff Cobb will do the same as well. LA Knight also qualified for the Money in the Bank, obviously pinning Shinsuke Nakamura, who was quite literally there to take the pin. And that was good as well, because I was more than happy to sit there and go, well, maybe it's Aleister Black, the other guy, or maybe it's LA Knight. Begs the question what we do with Aleister Black. I mean, it didn't really feel like we'd drawn a line under his feud with The Miz and Carmella Hayes, but I don't want that to elongate too much either. And could LA Knight win the Money in the Bank? It does feel like it's this year or no year at all. I think it's harder to pick the men's one at the moment, but we'll get to that when we get close to the pay-per-view, the PLE. And of course, Julia went through as well, because our opening segment was Tiffany Stratton saying, oh my gosh, I'm so great. Alexa Bliss comes out and just lies and said she's never met Tiffany Stratton. She definitely has backstage. Come on. Charlotte Flair comes out there too. We go right into that match. Didn't like the fact that Zelina Vega was in this because she's the US champion and she was just there to lose, and she did lose. I get, like if Jacob Fatu loses next week, but it's because of Solo Sikoa, fine, not a problem. But Zelina Vega just get beat. And at the moment, that Women's US Championship is just, well, it's just nothing. And I hate saying that because Chelsea Green is great and Zelina Vega is great, but you don't have a reason to care about it. And now from nowhere, we're doing the rematch on Saturday's main event. I didn't have that on my prediction video. I can only presume that Chelsea Green is going to win thanks to shenanigans. And we start again. And you shouldn't be starting again only, 7 months in? So I think we can do a better job with that. I really do. But it was nice that Tiffany Stratton got the opening promo, sort of get her over. We continue to tease that there is going to be something to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte because they bumped into each other later too. And Julia winning that match is massive. How many times in the past, like Karrion Kross was talking about this other day on the Ariel Helwani interview or whatever the flub it was, when Vince McMahon made him come out in that weird gimp helmet with a sword, whatever the hell that was, he felt like they were trying to, ruin him. We're not doing that anymore. Julia winning and being in the Money in Back is massive. And of course she could win. You could totally believe that. So, can't remember, is it Julia's got terrible music or is it somebody else? Somebody else had their music changed last night and it's awful. Was it Fraxium? I don't know. But that is a problem. I should have mentioned that on Ups and Downs. I actually totally forgot because I get in my flow. But all of that was good. All the Money in the Bank stuff was good. It was just when we got to that tag team match, because Chelsea and Zelina had a fight later, it was her Secret Hervis versus B-Fab and Meechin. You just knew that Chelsea Green was going to cast distraction and she did. And Zelina Vega was casting distraction and she did. And obviously I've already told you in the Jimmy Uso thing, it was Bloodline casting distraction and they did. I liked it at the end. And I liked it. We did the Tommaso Ciampa versus Chris Sabin match and Candice LeRae came back and she joined up with DIY. That's good interference distraction. She's like, oh my gosh, they're back and it ties into the way in NXT. So that was fun. And also Candice being on TV is better than Candice not being on TV. But you should have saved it there and you should have saved it for the main event. But WWE just used it. I don't want to talk about this too much. We did it on Monday. But it's like a get out of jail free card. Like when they didn't really lose because there was interference. And I think that always has to be what you least expect. And what you most expect is a clean finish. but we didn't get it. But listen, all the matches were really good. And the tag team match before the Wyatt Six arrived was excellent. Fraxian, man. Do you remember, and understandable given the past, people were so worried because they're not big dudes, how they're going to survive. Andrew Dawkins and Montez Ford, you know, they are sizable individuals. But because Fraxian was so fast and so good at what they do, at no point was I like, well, I don't believe this. No, I totally believe they have a strategy and they have an approach, and that could take anybody down, which is why it made so much sense when they did beat the Street Profits a few weeks ago. I still think we got there too fast, but I'm still enjoying the television. So again, it's a 50-50 situation. And my absolute highlight was R-Truth. This, of course, is going to cause people to melt down. Some people really don't like this. I saw one person go, we are wasting one of John Cena's dates on R-Truth. That is unbelievable. I respect your opinion and you're allowed to have it, but I think it's a little bit insulting to R-Truth. R-Truth, given everything he's done over the last few years, deserves, and I hope there's at least one more in the tank, but he deserves one last hurrah. And I suppose you could argue it would be the John Cena one. And they're not even doing this just they're like, oh man, R-Truth, we should give him something. It has essentially been a storyline for 5 years. R-Truth has been doing the whole John Cena is my hero for a long old time, which makes no sense because R-Truth is older than John Cena, as he referenced during some sort of Comic-Con or some kind of behind the scenes event this week. And I want to see it. And I thought here, R-Truth, proving how good he is, cut the perfect, okay, I'm goofy R-Truth, but I want to bring out the serious R-Truth promo. It was so well balanced. He talked about the fact that John Cena's kind of, you know, every now and then or slowly but surely just treated him a little bit worse and didn't reply to his messages and made him feel bad about himself. It's the most relatable thing I've ever heard. I've done that before. It's like, why does this person not like me? I must have done something, as opposed to put it on their shoulders before R-Truth talked to the rest of the locker room and realised that they agreed. Cena has been sort of brought down by power and fame, and he's forgotten who he is. So if R-Truth has to beat the hero back into him, he is going to do. And if John Cena wins, we riot. Absolutely perfect. 5 stars, 6.2.5 stars in the Tokyo Dome. And I think R-Truth could win. I'm going to leave it there because I talked about it on my predictions video on Tuesday, Wednesday. Go back and watch it if you want to hear my absolutely ridiculous prediction, which could come true. You never know. But I watched this and I was like, I just want to see R-Truth versus John Cena. I do. I don't think it's a waste of a John Cena date. I think that's totally mad. I think that they will come up with a really good angle for this that will lead into SummerSlam, although I'm a bit worried about SummerSlam. Or is it Money in the Bank? One of the two. There was a rumor that it's going to be Logan Paul, Travis Scott, and John Cena taking on Cody Rhodes and the Usos. That is going to take me a long time to get my head around. I'm happy for anyone to do anything, and I'm happy for you to enjoy it. That is not what I want for my wrestling at all. That is pivoting way off to the left when I want to stay down the middle lane. But R-Truth and John Cena, especially given that we have given it time. What we did at Backlash, admittedly the press conference thing when he put him through the table was a little bit wicky-wacky, but I'm still on board with it. I just want to see what they're going to do here, because you do have two very distinct options. John Cena could murder R-Truth, and I'd totally get it, or John Cena could murder R-Truth, but somehow he gets the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, and I would get that too, maybe not, because Cody Rhodes walks in or runs down or whatever a wrestler does these days. So I loved it and I'm excited about it, and I liked all the stuff between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest as well. They just beat each other up for the whole show. But if you told me or asked me what is my most anticipated match from tonight's SNME, I would pick Truth versus Cena, because it's just crazy and it's nuts, and it's a match I never thought to see, I would see. R-Truth still basically in his goofy guise taking on a heel John Cena. Can't write better things than that. I know we always go back to this, but if we are going to get wrestling all of the time, and we do, look at this weekend. There's like 47 different events. It can't all just be the mundane, or it can't just be the same old. I get so bored. I need some madness. I need some craziness in my life, and that's exactly what I'm going to get here. So I loved it, and I just love R-Truth, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. I think it's a good use of a date. Give me more of this, so when it is all wrapped up, I can be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got it. So it was a decent SmackDown. I don't think it's one that we're going to be talking about for ages, apart from the Wyatt Six entrance at the end, which was totally faboo. We're just planting seeds for Money in the Bank and realising we've got to get through Saturday night's main event. Again, the Chelsea Green-Zelina Vega match just comes out of nowhere. I understand they've been feuding, but I think you could have done a bigger angle on this show to kind of justify that. And the rise of Jacob Fatu is really cool to see. I mean, it can't have been more than just a year now. Maybe we're getting just over a year, or just over like 14, 15 months. It's been quite the rise, and he has handled everything that's been thrown at him. I just hope we get to the Solo Sikoa feud sooner rather than later, because I don't want WWE to get too wishy-washy in the sense that we have these singles championships, and then other people at the moment are entering Money in the Bank qualifiers. I'm always a bit hit and miss on that. I think I'd rather if you had a title, you're like, okay, listen, I want the world title eventually, but right now I'm sticking with this gold I do have, because it just sends a message to the audience that it's meant to be really important. But it was watchable. It was a watchable episode of SmackDown. I still really hope we only have 1 or 2 left at 3 hours. You're never going to get me off that hill. I know it's boring, and I know I talk about it all the time. But SmackDown could just reduce the amounts of interferences they do and go back to a 120-minute show. I think it would be excellent. And I think some of the quality you would get from it would probably be some of the best of all time. Completely speculative by me, but that is how I feel in my Tootsie Toes. But yes, you should watch it for the Wyatt Six. It was really, really good. And some of the matches on this were excellent. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And they have got me excited for Saturday night's main event. I would probably say, and this may be recency bias, that I'm more excited for this SNME than I am for all the other ones, which means that WWE did a good job, which they needed to do after all the WrestleMania fiasco stuff. We did a video on that yesterday, and I implore you to watch that, because that actually is some important stuff to talk about. WWE is kind of skirting with a few things here. We shall see what happens. And ever since I did make that video, Triple H did confirm in a very corporate-esque for him video saying that, yes, they're getting Money in the Bank 2026, which is now in August, which is so late. That's the story behind that one. And they will get a WrestleMania at some point, but did not announce where WrestleMania 42 is going to be. So despite people messaging me going, Simon, your title is clickbait, right now WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans has been cancelled, and we know what's going on. So I stand by it. But don't worry about that. Please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the bell down there and the notification, the subscriptions, and all of that. And make sure you leave me a comment below to let me know how wrong I am. A WrestleMania video is on the screen, so you can click that too. Otherwise, if you are into your fitness supplements, please do go to GorillaMind.com/Simon. If you are an American person, or anyone really, it still counts for you. If you go there on Monday, it is Independence Day, not Independence Day, Memorial Day. And there's going to be a massive sale. Some stuff's going to be like $1. So use the code Simon. It ships worldwide. You can get money off. The Patreon is going again, patreon.com/Simon316. It has been chosen. It will be King of the Ring 1990, our first ever watch along. I'm going to record that and get it up on Monday. So make sure you sign up before then. It's only like $5. It's super duper cheap. Otherwise, it is Simon316 on social media. Simon Miller on Cameo for my personalized video messages. They're super cheap too. Simon J. Miller on TikTok for dumb wrestling and football skits. Otherwise, yes, Pro Wrestling Tees and Big Cartel if you would like to buy some merchandise. Otherwise, have a great weekend. I shall see you throughout the weekend because there are so many wrestling matches and shows. But aren't we living in a nice time? Yes, we are. I love you all, but let's go on a date first, and I'll see you tomorrow.